Hey everybody, it's Nayo. I'm back from EcoWellCo and I wanted to shoot part 3. It's really funny because originally I was going to wait to shoot part 3 until another day, but I don't know, I feel like it's time. So right now I'm up on the roof here in Philly, if anybody's curious, because you see the chimney in the background. So in part 1 of the Connecting to Nature series, I focused on trying to understand our connection to nature through stimulus and response. Part 2, I focused on understanding our connection to nature as if we are one body, which we are, okay? So we do have the connection through stimulus response, and we are one connected body that is impacted by something going on completely in a different part of the world, even if we don't really understand it. So part 3 is really about connecting to nature through respect, through acknowledgement that it is its own existing entity. So I know a lot of times, in my upbringing a lot, we referred to nature as some sort of soulless being, right? And I actually feel differently. I feel that nature has its own entity, its own soul. It's obviously 100% has its own energy signature, and it has its own way of being and living and expressing itself. And there have been times where I've seen instances of what seems to be nature breathing. It's like the ground is moving up and down and up and down, and almost resembling that of lungs going in and out and in and out within our own body. So that is again relating to it as if it is one body, but what I really want to focus on right now is a lot of what I've been learning about what a lot of traditional societies have been relating to the natural environment as respecting it as its own nature. It's just like if I walk down the street and I see another person, I inherently have love and respect for every single human being. But what I really want to focus on right now is just understanding and respecting nature for what it is, for what it offers, for how it supports us, for how it helps us to thrive, for looking at the tree and saying, "Tree, I acknowledge you for who you are and for what you are and for what you provide. And I'm so grateful for that." When you go to the plant, if you have a garden, if you go to, like you say, your tomato plant in the garden and you begin to pick from that plant, you say, "Tomato plant, I respect for you who you are, I know who you are, and I'm grateful to be able to harvest the fruits of your labor, the fruits of your existence." Really what I'm getting at is just 100% seeing nature as its own entity, as its own living being, and as its own existence. And just as typically when you walk down the street and you see another person, you may nod, you may not nod, or you just acknowledge another person, whether or not you do or don't. At the end of the day, there's some sort of basic level of respect for another human being that a lot of us tend to have. It's been really interesting to me in my research with seeing how over time, we've almost clowned other traditions, other cultures for their deep and profound respect for whatever it may be, for the water, for the grass, for the air, for the sun, for the moon. I mean, there's so many different ways and iterations in culture in which different groups of people in different spiritual and religious beliefs and different means have respected the natural environment and the fruits that it bears to us. The shirt that you're wearing, the shirt that I'm wearing, comes from some sort of natural substance. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the natural being that is having its own natural life. I'm grateful for it, for the harvest that it provided so that I can have the shirt to wear at this very moment. I'm grateful for the juice that I have right now that came from a natural resource, the fruits that it bared for me to be able to enjoy that juice. I'm grateful for the water. I mean, shoot, I got sparkling water in here too. I try to mix it up a little bit. But I'm grateful for the sparkling water, for the water in which the earth provided for me to be able to enjoy this beverage of just diverse flavors. You know what I'm saying? So I think for me, it's and what I really want to get across is nature is so inherent to our existence. It's so deeply rooted and connected to us in everything that we are. And no matter how separated and how disconnected we may feel from it, no matter how much we may see it as an it, as something that doesn't need to be respected, as something that doesn't have its own life force, as something that doesn't have its own energy, as something that doesn't constantly exchange with us every single moment that we walk past it. No matter how much we believe these things as deep in our soul as they go, there's something deeper than that knows inherently and intrinsically the connection that we have with the natural environment and how it supports us and how it allows us to be who we are, to express ourselves in the way that we are able to express ourselves, and to receive nourishment in the means in which we need in order to be in a sense of equilibrium. The natural environment is such a beautiful thing. It has its own soul. It has its own energy. It has its own frequency. It is its own entity, and it has its own sense of being and living and expression that we no longer need to see as separate from ourselves, but only as connected to who we are. Just as you are a living being who desires deep down to be respected, to be cared for, in whatever way that means to you, so does the natural environment want the same exact thing. So in no way, shape, or form are we disconnected, or should we see the natural world around us as something in which we can just trash all of our goods. Driving down the road, I'm just throwing my McDonald's trash out the car. No. I mean, imagine, let's do this for a second. Imagine that you are the earth, right? And let's just flip roles. Let's say an elk is driving a car and it's done with its McDonald's or whatever version of animal kingdom fast food, right? And it just throws it out, and you're the natural environment, and you're just like, and that trash is not only, it's hit your face, you're like, okay, whatever. Then it somehow finds its way into your water system. It finds its way into everything else that you're supporting. It begins to clog things that would clog pores, clog arteries, clog all types of different important things that you need to survive and exist in a pleasant and balanced environment in order to sustain yourself and to continue to provide for all of the species in which you are providing for. If you take for a second and reverse the roles and place yourself as nature, and nature as you, how would you want to be treated? How would you want to be respected? And how would you want to be seen? Solely as an it, something that is completely separate, something that's completely inanimate, something that doesn't desire or deserve your respect or attention, or something that is living, that is breathing, that is supporting, that is expressing, that is being, that not only wants to support and nourish, but that wants to be supported and nourished, that wants to be cared for and thought of in our living existence. So all that this part 3 is really simple. This is why it's so much shorter than the other parts. Part 3 is very simple. Connecting to nature is also respecting nature for what it is, having gratitude for what it offers to us, and being able to recognize that and just be so excited about. If you're eating something right now, where do you think that came from? Even if it's processed, where do you think it came from? In all truth, it's base. If you're outside right now, what do you think that's about? If you're in the sun right now like me, this feels amazing. Thank you, sun. Thank you for shedding on me your form of expression, your life and your livelihood that adds so much to me and my being and my existence. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't take much to simply be able to look at something outside of yourself and have respect and love for it. It can seem like it can take a lot, and that's okay if it does. I mean, it's an unlearning to relearn type of situation going on here. But I want us to begin to play with the idea of stimulus and response and how we connect to the nature, just as we would respond to stimulus, nature responds to stimulus. To understanding that the natural environment and we are all a part of one gigantic body in which we're all operating and serving our own purpose together. And to also understand that just as every other organ or cell or stimulus and response or whatever the connection that is within that there is also a greater respect, a greater love that we need to have for ourselves and everyone around us, but also for the natural environment that works full time around the clock to support us, to give us the fruits that we need to live, to sustain. I mean, look, I'm telling you 100%, everything that you have, everything that I have, everything that has ever supported your existence, everything that's ever supported my existence comes from the natural environment. And I can't do anything but be grateful for that. I can't do anything but say, thank you, tree. There's actually a tree in the corner over here. So I'm really pointing to that. But just say thank you. Thank you for the oxygen. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the shade. Thank you for the cooling effect. Thank you for the energy in the fields that help me feel calmer when I'm stressed out and I want to come outside. Thank you, sun, for bringing on that tan, making my skin feel nice and clear and smooth. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for the vitamin D that the sun activates within my body to help build my immune system and fight off viral infections. Thank you for the elderberries that help to build my immune system up as well. For the mullein that helps to build, to like soothe my lungs because I have asthma, and it's just really nice to think mullein tea, it's an herb. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many different ways in which we can forget and how the natural environment supports us. But we can also remember, and we can also choose on a daily basis to respect it and to send it love and to acknowledge it and to acknowledge it as its own entity, as its own living presence, and to thank it for all the support and nourishment that it's given us so far and that will continue to give us. Right now is a time of complete shift. Everything is shifting. The earth is shifting. We are shifting. The consciousness is shifting. So let us continue to shift in a direction that guarantees our survival, not just for us, but for 7 upon 70 generations to come, so that they may thrive and bask in the sun, grateful and living a lifestyle that is nature-based, thus respecting the natural environment and all the fruits that it offers, but also thriving within themselves, being well, being healthy, and loving themselves as well as everyone around them. Thank you guys so much for being a part of part 3. And as always, stay safe, please. Take in as much sun as you can. And let's just learn to, let's just challenge ourselves. Let's choose. Let's choose something small. Let's choose a small way in which we can alter our lifestyle. Even if it's as you're taking your next walk down the street, you see the tree, the bush, the grass, the bird, whatever it may be, and you just you offer it a thank you. You say, thank you for existing. You're loved and respected. Let's challenge ourselves in any small way that makes sense to you, to extend ourselves, our hearts, and our connection to the natural environment. Whether or not it be you analyzing how stimulus and response impacts you and relating that to the natural environment, whether or not it be you analyzing how you are a part of the greater universal body in the earth system, or whether or not it be you just extending an ounce, a sense of respect to the natural world around you. Let's try one small thing. Thank you, everyone. Namaste, and God bless.